Hello, hello. There's this pretty charming challenge going around. I think it's called Describe Yourself in 3 fictional characters. I was tagged by @RiotCakes on Twitter to do it, and at first I was pretty intimidated, but ultimately ended up with my 3 characters. And I decided I wanted to try and challenge myself and come up with 7 more characters that I could use to describe myself. I thought this was really fun. I really like seeing other people's answers. I feel like it allows this cool opportunity to get to know people a little bit better, or how they see themselves, or learn things that we didn't know about them, if they embellish, which that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah. So here are 10 different characters that can in one way or another #relate. Starting with number 10, which is a tie. I couldn't decide between Rachel Berry and April Ludgate. What? Annie, they're like total opposites. Yeah, I know. I'm a very fluid person, so I'm gonna tell you why. Rachel, because she loves theater and theater culture and performing. She craves attention, and she talks too much and too fast, and she can be really weird and tricky to understand, and yeah, high energy and bubbly, which is how I am when I'm not riddled with fatigue. April, because she's a little on the edgier side, and people can be difficult to tolerate. Is that bad to say? Are people gonna hate me for saying that? Yeah, well, people can be too much for her at times, and she likes to keep her circle very tight. She doesn't trust easily. She likes horror stuff, and she's Latina. And her main language is English. Number 9 is Katarina Stratford from 10 Things I Hate About You. She is actually probably the first character I ever encountered that identified as a feminist, and she was my hero. She was a loner and sarcastic, intellectual, passionate in her beliefs, and of course, she cared about her little sister a lot. And if you pay attention, you might notice a pattern with the rest of the characters that I chose. Number 8 is Matilda. Sadly, I can relate to the abuse narrative in her story, and having a childhood that included a lot of yelling and possibly violence. I related to her adoration for creativity, books, her escapism. Sorry, I said that word funny, but her escapism, which involved her books. So when I saw that movie as a kid, wow, hit hard. Like, there's somebody else in the world that's like me. Number 7 is Ellie from Up. And I might have never, ever even considered her if it wasn't for my Disney astrology, which she was the corresponding character. She is the Disney astrology character for August 22. And then I was like, oh yeah, I see it. Ellie and I talk way too much and can often get really excited and optimistic about life, to the point where we probably scare some people off, but manage to keep around some cool people who admire our attitude and our honesty. We are always thirsty for adventure, and ultimately have the understanding that while adventure is out there, adventure is also in here. Adventure is what you make it. Number 6 is Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. These are all really cool characters, and I really feel bad comparing myself to such cool characters, but it is what it is. first of the first. She has a very similar sister and familial relationship than I have with my family. My first introduction to The Hunger Games was the trailer for the film, and the moment I saw her willing to sacrifice herself in order to save her sister, that was #relatable for me. I would take a bullet for my sister. My sister is everything to me. So, I don't know, loving someone like that, I can relate to it very much. Also, there was this relatable feeling of, like, being the glue for her family. She was the one that was kind of holding it down. And then after that, I guess it might just be that we styled our hair the same way for a very long time. Number 5 is Hamilton, which is technically a non-fictional person. However, I'm specifically referencing the character from the musical, as I don't know the brother in real life. Hamilton is my bro, because we have this overcompensating drive stemming from, I guess, difficult and traumatic childhoods and marginalization, for him being his orphan immigrant status, for me being a lot of other stuff, / intersectional melting pot. Hamilton and I are driven forward by our aspirations to make a great impact, and these looming thoughts of our own mortality, that we are running out of time, therefore have this very surprising non-stop work mode. Fun fact. So we got two opposites. We got the tortoise and the hare. So people will usually find that they're either the I'm not throwing away my shot people, or the I can wait for it people. So let me know which one you are. Number 4 is Jo March from Little Women. And she was the first character I think I ever encountered who I thought was me to a T. Not so much now, but once upon a time I was a big old tomboy, and so was she. She's also a writer, a creative, a feminist, and she's not afraid to be alone. She might have whined about it once or twice, but ultimately I interpreted it as something that empowered her. She was also very protective of her family, her sisters. Number 3 is Alice from The L Word. I had to choose somebody from The L Word, and that would be Alice, mostly because she has a lot of faces. She can be very bubbly and excited. Her expression is typically in and out between neutral and feminine. She is a creator, whether it was her radio show or her podcast / blog, to when she was a guest host on television. She's also incredibly interested in how we are all connected. I thought that was really cool too. Number 2 is Amelie. She's a person who is pretty isolated and at peace with it. Isolation is calming, and people can be scary and annoying at times. However, she also still manages to care about people a lot, even though she doesn't spend a lot of time with them. And she has this, like, craving for justice, as well as creativity and magic. And number 1 is Clementine from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. No, not just because of the ever-changing hair. I actually kind of hate having her on the list, because from a distance it can look like I'm trying to identify with a manic pixie dream girl, even though her character actually exclaims that she isn't. She is not a subject for her love interest to be amused by. That she's her own person with her own ideas. She's a multi-dimensional human being. And I related to that a lot, as people throughout my life have constantly had this odd expectation of me, to just always be amusing, always be inspiring. And though I can be those things, I'm also a lot of other things. I've also got problems. I'm also extremely flawed, to the point where I am grateful that anybody puts up with me. Besides that, she's also very creative and artistic and confident, and vulnerable, and talks too much. And yes, the hair. So that's it. Do these kind of things come very easily to you, or do you have to think about it for some time? I would really love to know what your characters end up being, so let me know in the comments below, and I will see you eventually. Bye!